Cheers
Is this 200?
to episode 200.
This is 200.
200!
This is 200.
On the
I made
day
whiskey
Michigan State
for it.
beats Purdue.
I made whiskey drink for this. I felt like I had to.
Drinking
Drinking at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday.
green tea.
Green tea, that's new for Evan. Ice green tea?
Ice green tea.
What brand?
Arizona.
Nice.
I got water.
Nothing big for 200 for Alex. That's also on brand.
I didn't know that this was 200.
200.
No.
Some fun stats. I was going back, trying to calculate 200 down memory lane. Over 4 years of the show. Can you guess when the first show aired?
Yeah. January
Yeah.
of 20. I have my notebook right here. Where's it?
I forgot. Evan has the official log. Like he's like
January
George R. Martin.
2021.
George R. Martin, Game of Thrones, just going
January
deep in the book.
13th,
Show number
2021.
January
That's my guess.
18th.
Oh,
Yep.
Here's the notes for show 1.
Who are the two people that we talked about the most that show?
Talked
Goff
about
and
Brad
Stafford.
Holmes and Dan Campbell.
Both hired on the first show ever.
wow. I hope
The
someone
next-
goes back and listens to how bad that show was.
As 100. Well, this is Podbean, not YouTube. I don't think we did YouTube though. That had 164 downloads all time, which is not bad for show 1.
Dan Campbell
then-
almost got the Colts job.
Do we sound like morons on it?
Probably really bad. The next show
I sounded like Mel Kiper wannabes.
Our first 3 shows were absolute bangers. The next one's titled "Goodbye, Matthew Stafford." He asked out
Yeah.
of the Lions the next show, and then
Stafford
just
Lions parting ways.
the
Then
trade.
the golf trade.
Yeah, the
The
trade.
trade.
was
episode 3.
Wow.
And then we had some heavy hitter guests. That's my biggest goal. I think we've done this. This is 4 years.
You told my dad that we're done.
Alex
We're
and I on the trip
wrapping
were like,
this show up.
how much longer can we actually do the show? So for those wondering, we're like, yeah, thinking out loud, how long? This is my goal. If to continue it, I want to do it right. I think we need to dive back into trying to get guests on because that's probably when it's the best and it's the most exciting. I think that's my
Ryan Field
resolution.
interview.
Yeah.
Six episodes
That's a
in
good
and
one.
boom.
And
Ryan
Kyle
Field.
Austin back to back. 2 heavy hitters.
Well, Kyle Austin owes us something.
Not
'Cause
really.
He told Evan and I that Michigan State wouldn't make the tournament. And I
Correct.
said they would.
He said he'd come back on. And we never asked him back on.
No, he said he'd give us $1 million
I'll go
his
back and
salary.
listen.
from whatever from M Live or whatever. I don't know where it works now, but
That's my
does he
New
still
Year's.
work?
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't
I
seen
don't-
his tweets much anymore.
I don't know. Maybe he got off the beat because they were so bad.
Michigan State beat is bad.
He works for M Live Sports still, but you're right. He hasn't tweeted since August of 2024.
Yeah, he tweeted about Armando Baycott at the football game.
What a weird memory. I was just looking at that tweet. That's his last
Yeah.
tweet.
Yeah, that's because I saw that and I was like, oh, Kyle Austin hasn't posted in a while. And yeah, that is the last one.
Yeah. Michigan State transfer
Shish
Zapala
bomb.
vows to do dirty work while providing boost at center. That's from July.
He sure
Retweet.
does.
Zapala. Marissa cannot say his name. She calls him like zippity doodah, zippity ah. Like she just has no clue how to say that name.
You ever sat and watched any Michigan State sporting event ever with my dad? He can't say anybody's name. He'll mess
I
up
think that's
everybody's
any
name.
dad. Because
He
Ryan
calls-
is the worst.
Jace Richardson, they call it Josiah or Jose.
He would be like Richardson. Richardson? Is that Jace Richardson right there? Who is that? Trey Holloway. My dad calls Trey Holloman Trey Holloway.
That makes sense.
He doesn't mess up Carr's name because how do you mess up Carr?
Jackson Kofer.
Topher. He looks like a Topher.
Anyways, my goal is to get guests. That's my goal. Look, when I was going down memory lane, I was like, man, we had some good guests.
Also,
I'm
I'm
gonna-
going to get Joey Hauser.
I'm going to take that personally
Ah.
onto mine. Now, we may not be able, I think with our
She
He
said
had
you
my
would
schedules.
come back
ex-girlfriend once.
Huh?
Joey Hauser.
The chief of prop said he would come back on.
He would come back on. I
Well,
think
the chief of prop is me.
with
The
our
way
busy
he tweets, I'm the same way.
with our busy schedules, I think our goal, because I've always been like, oh, it's best when all 3 of us are on, but we just need to start asking people. And if they're like, I can only do this day, then maybe it's just, I'll do it.
He's
or
always free.
if Evan can make it, Evan does it. If Alex can make
Whoa.
it, he does it. We'll do it like together. We'll just figure it out. But that's my goal, big or small. So for the listeners, if you have any guests, or Alex and Evan, if you think of any, you're on Twitter and like, ooh, that'd be interesting to talk to. think we need to try to get a guess.
Luka
All right, I
versus
know a
Dad.
guy.
When you've been doing it 4 years,
What a
and I
weird
do like
interview.
it. I enjoy it every week. When you do it 4 years, you need to find a spark again. It's like in a relationship. You got to find that spark. And I think the
Or
spark
you
is
just
Frank
let
Garza.
it fade
I need
away.
We gotta try
I need-
some kinky stuff now, and we gotta
I
get into
need
kinky
Frank
stuff.
Garza back in my life in a hotel room with no Wi-Fi.
We need to do
We
some
need-
Paula.
yeah. We
See
need to
how
get
much broken
freaky.
English it is.
I need Zapala bad. Whoa, boss.
Oh, that's weird, dude.
But yeah, 200 shows, 4 years. We're just keep chugging along. And now we're back. We finally came full circle to where the Big Ten runs through our 2 basketball teams. We finally made it full circle back to this
Is that
moment.
true?
Yeah, Alex, that's true.
Michigan State still got quite a tough schedule to like get to the last game, or get to the last week.
We're talking about
in Big Ten.
in the present, though. In the present, it runs
Right
through our
this
2
moment.
teams.
Yes, right
Yes.
now. Sure.
And if Wisconsin loses, it really, I mean, I don't see. You just gave what? Purdue their
Honestly, the best path for
fifth
the
loss?
state of Michigan is Wisconsin losing tonight and Michigan State winning Friday, and then just the two of us solo tied at the
Nope.
top.
No,
That's
can't let
the
you
best
have
path.
that because I know how that last game of the year goes. I've seen that story many times. We
That's
can't
the
have
path.
that.
That's the path.
The path that I would like is that
You need to win the Big Ten before you get to the last game.
No, I'm even cool if
We share.
we have locked up a share. You have to clinch your share noon on CBS with Spiro Didi's on the call Sunday, March 9th.
That's so good.
Hero. He's incredible.
So good. At
He's
his
incredible. He's the best. I'll watch any CBS.
That's who we need on. We need to. That should be our number one white whale guess. Is just getting Spiro Didi's on the
Spiro.
show.
Just admire his work.
He's probably busy
he's-
coming up now that I think about it. But maybe when the
Good.
season dies down.
Dies down. I mean, we're in full swing right now. This is it.
In May when he's sleeping.
Need to get
Good
Tigers
John
beat Raider.
Rothstein.
my white whale, Spencer Torkelson.
Okay. Yes. There's no bar too high or too low.
He doesn't watch swing videos, so he's just sitting there talking to himself. So he might as well talk to us.
Yeah, we could go through clips with him and be like good swing, bad swing.
He doesn't watch clips of himself, Grant. He'll get triggered.
That's why he
Leave our-
sucks.
We force him to watch clips of himself. We say good swing. Or we just show him all the torque bomb texts in our group chat.
Oh, yes.
Show him the Avengers work edit in our chat.
That would
That.
build his confidence up so high.
First time he sent that out, it's like this is incredible. You post that on Twitter.
So for 200, it's really going to be all over the map. We got some weekly check-ins to do to see how each other's doing since the 2 weeks. Our last show we recorded was January 29th is when it published, which means we would have spoke to each other on the 28th, I believe.
We've spoken to each other since then.
So it's been
We,
One-
as in the three of us.
1 week, 2 week. This is three weeks since our last show of recording wise. So we'll give it an abbreviated really check in. Alex and I did go on a big ski trip. That's really going to be my only recap that I have that's worth mentioning. I don't think anything else. It's been the worst weather ever in the state of Michigan.
I'll
and
be in
then-
Michigan this weekend.
We have state hoops to dive into, Michigan hoops, obviously. Just some brief recaps of the games that have happened since, and then previewing our massive game on Friday. Fun fact about Friday, I'm going to Marissa's cousin's indoor baseball game at 8 o'clock.
Oh,
Fun fact: I'll be in a plane the entirety of the game.
That's not the worst thing. I watched Michigan Purdue on the plane on the way home.
I have to watch on my phone though, streaming.
I'll be watching the first half, not watching the first half because of the varsity basketball game, watching the
Oh,
second half.
Look at this sports podcast. The game of the
We'll all
year.
be dialed into
Life.
it. It's on the road, so Evan and I are chalking it up to a lean L at the moment.
Not with the street. Anyways, crazy
Wow, I wonder if those ticket prices have gone up.
psychotic grant behavior. Michigan Purdue was ending on my flight back from Denver, rushing through the airport after I
I
said
watched that in my
goodbye
Uber.
to the rest of the people on the ski trip. The trip officially ended. I went down to get on the shuttle, the Quick Park shuttle, to take me back to their parking lot to get my car. I refused to step outside to get on the Quick Park shuttle. I collected myself and watched the last 30 seconds down below because I wasn't going to be able to focus on getting to where I needed to go until this game was done.
That's
prioritized it, even though I really wanted to be home because it was like 9 o'clock after a long day.
Then we lost to Indiana.
Yeah. Michigan hoops. Tigers quickly about the Bregman finally wrapping up. I had one Lions mock trade from Myles Garrett. I am excited about the Four Nations face-off. I think we should give that a little bit of a run. Quickly, just a question or two about the expectations for our Pistons the second half of the season now that they're doing pretty well into the break. And then if we have time, CFP expansion.
That
also
seems
need
like an
Evans
off-season topic.
Evans help to settle a quick debate Alex and I had at the end of our trip about Michigan's football season next year.
Well,
So
national championship or bust. Evan,
might
there's a
loop
sneak
him
preview.
in. I'll handle the phrasing of that question
That's
because
what he said.
no, because Alex is not going to present it fairly, so I will handle that part. But before all of that,
Bullshit.
we have to go to Alex as always to start episode 200. Anything new happened in your life?
Went on a ski trip. Grant will talk about it. I mean, yeah. I don't know.
Make sure to
Been
stay
a
close
long
to your
time.
mic. 200 episodes in. Don't be too far.
Been a long time since
That's
we
it.
spoke.
Come to Papa.
Ski trip. I was supposed to play golf. Got rained out.
Oh,
I really don't think I've done anything worth noting. I've probably played golf in that stretch of time. I definitely have. I don't remember when. I still have golf league on Thursdays. We're still winning.
I did see Alex play on a simulator.
No,
Pretty
I
good.
did play on a simulator with Grant.
Good on par threes. Through 2 holes at Augusta, we were tied.
Oh,
We were using Whippy standard clubs. And Grant, well, it's a long. Grant played through the trees down a cart path and somehow, pulled out a par or whatever. But
Simulators aren't real life. Spoiler.
Correct. Yeah, I don't think I have anything exciting to report
All
until
right.
the ski trip.
We'll save that till after Evan, I need to hear how basketball is going. I looked at your schedule. It's basically done.
it is.
You're at the home
High
stretch.
school, JV has 1 game left. Varsity has 1 / potentially 2. And then districts is next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
So like less than a week from today, you're saying? So Monday.
Yeah. If they really flop next Monday, my varsity season's going to be done. They play technically a play-in game on Monday.
This might be too much information to share with the people. We don't know to know exactly where Evan's at, but we're there.
Evan works for Tecumseh.
Yes. So, and then there's potentially a senior night game on the 21st. Don't know yet. Madison has canceled and rescheduled like 4 or 5 different times. Spring game.
Springport.
Back to
What is a
where's
spring
Wyandotte
board?
Roosevelt?
I don't know. It's downriver area, hour and a half away.
Oh my god! In this conditions on the road?
What a weird schedule.
Yep. Varsity JV. JV's kind of been all right, ups and downs. Varsity's kind of struggled. They've hit a lull coming down the stretch. But you can turn it around in district play. And then middle school girls, that's still going strong. That last game doesn't end until March 6th.
All right, so we got some
Got a game tomorrow at home.
schedule left. Who we got?
MC
How are
Lincoln.
my principals going? My 3 main
Defend,
principals.
rebound,
for
and
your
run,
women's
baby. I
team.
write it on
Yeah.
the board
Yeah.
before every single game.
Yeah, I bet. I bet we're winning because of that.
I know we are.
I know. if Vegas, not you, obviously, if a third party Vegas was handicapping the boys' districts, I'm assuming Adrian's in it. Would Adrian be the favorite because of the good player they have?
Who's their good player? What's his name?
Stevie Elam.
Stevie Eel.
Elam.
Stevie Elam ending.
Elam.
Stevie
Yeah.
Elam. He's a 3-star recruit. 42nd best point guard in the country and number 5 player in Michigan. That's 24/7.
Neither real deal.
Pretty good.
He has offers
And
from
he's not
Wisconsin,
like-
Milwaukee, Ball
he's
State,
not
Central,
cocky.
Cal Poly, and
He's
Eastern.
not douchey. He's kind of the quiet, kind of best player on the court. Like, he'll get his when he gets his. He doesn't, like, force anything.
It's kind of sick. That's hard to hate.
Going
Yeah,
to
sit down and guard the best player. I mean, just all around
It's like
Going to
Braden
play in
Smith.
Grant's conference.
Where at?
The Horizon.
That's where Butler belongs.
That's where you think Butler should be.
Butler's just getting their doors blown off against Xavier right now.
Well, I saw that
But right
Butler
now,
was on a 3-game win
full-fledged
streak.
basketball. A lot of days off of school because nothing seems to work around here. So I just I haven't had a full
You've had days
work.
off?
What's broken now? Pipes?
I haven't had a full week of work since December. Since the first week of January,
That's
actually.
a crazy stat, if that's true.
First week of January.
That might be more impressive than when I found out Canada hadn't lost a game in 26 games with Sidney Crosby as their captain.
Dude, why is Stevie Elam's short so short?
That's the look.
That's in now, Alex.
You got to be able to move laterally. That's why you were so slow shuffling your feet.
His
'cause they were-
compression shorts are like 6 inches longer than his shorts.
Yes. Jordan Poole
And-
invented that.
Adrian's Jordan now?
Everyone's Jordan. Just buy the brand, Alex.
When we were in high school, you had like
Russell.
a contract. We had a contract with Nike.
Those
We have
freshman
a
year
contract with
Russell
Nike still.
Russell throwbacks.
Jordan is Nike, Alex.
Duh.
Yes. Fine.
Let me
Yeah.
speak as someone whose team is sponsored by Jordan. I know how it works. My backup college
Grant,
team
you went to Butler.
that I have to
so-
root for because Butler's below 500. I'm sorry, okay? Look, all things equal, I wish
You're a
Butler was in a
fraud.
title chase right now. I do. I can't
Over
control
Michigan.
They're
that.
on right now. They're facing Xavier. How's the
I
game going?
know.
You
They're
would
down
rather Butler be
67
good
to
than Michigan
52.
be good.
Yes, I've said this 1,000 times.
I don't believe you, though.
Pray to God one day they meet in the Final
Pray
Four.
to
I'm
God.
wearing Butler. I'm wearing Butler
This
gear.
is not
I
a
want Butler
religious
to win.
show.
Gods be good. They play in the finals. I want Butler to win.
Wisconsin's up 8?
I know you don't believe me, Alex, but that's the truth.
Yeah, well, I don't believe you, and I won't believe you until it happens, when one day they play each other in the NIT first round.
You've go Dogs. You haven't gotten to see full Bulldog Grant.
Yeah, I did. I saw full Bulldog Grant against North Carolina in the tournament.
No, that was 20.
St. Patrick's Day weekend. I saw it.
Oh yeah, versus Arkansas.
Oh, yeah, I saw
Arkansas. We put the beat down on Arkansas in the second half of that game, and then we should have beat. Well, no, that was the Purdue year. We should have
Thought you
beat
played North
Purdue at
Carolina after
LCA.
that.
That was the year before.
it. Either way, I've seen you. I've seen you root for the Dogs. And every winter break or spring break, when we were in Tecumseh, they'd play in the Big East tournament, or whatever tournament conference they were in. We would watch that.
Yeah, and then Christmas break, you guys would come watch them in the Crossroads Classic when we
Yeah.
upset Indiana that
Yeah.
one year. It was electric.
So I am well versed with Butler. In fact, I have family members who played basketball at Butler, so I'm more entrenched than you are in that.
This
program.
was the peak. The year that the two of us were going to play in the finals. Look at the start to that
I
season.
don't. Agreed. Well, we would have been in the finals. I don't know how we
Triangle
keep
right
saying
there.
that Butler.
Two
would have been
Bermuda triangles.
A little bit, yeah. Some
Oh, that's tough. 2-3 game losing streaks.
yeah, some hiccups, but we were going to be a top 5 seed in the tournament, and we were coming for
How are-
throats.
How are you declaring yourself
Good team.
a,
Seton Hall,
a
good
national
team.
title team if you're a top 5 seed? We were like a 1 or a 2 seed.
Because we were ranked in this peak against playing teams not in your own conference. We lost to Baylor by a point, right? And we're like a top 10 team during this stretch here. And then Big
Yeah,
East
but then
play
you
started.
lost to DePaul.
DePaul, yeah, that's inexcusable.
We
You
were
can't-
in New York for that.
DePaul.
We were there.
Oh
Yeah,
my god,
probably
we were watching that game together.
We saw that game
Yeah,
together. You lost
we
to
probably
DePaul.
were.
You turned it off, and you turned on like some EPL
Michigan
game.
basketball game.
I think I was at this Seton Hall game. They hit a buzzer beater at the end.
Well,
Sucked.
was it-
was an
who's that
alley-oop
kid?
layup.
Oh, Miles
Mikhailuk.
Powell.
Miles Powell gave us buckets, but we
Yes.
beat them. Same year, we beat them.
Second.
Yeah, we did beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were better.
Tipping at the buzzer. Svi Mikhailuk made jumper. I was front row. I bought
That
tickets
is
for my
not Sevi
friends.
Mikhailuk. That
That
kid
is
played
not
on
his-
Kansas.
Oh yeah, why am I saying
Sevi Mikhailuk
Mikhailuk?
played for Kansas.
Sandro
and the Pistons.
Mamakushalevi.
Mama Kulashvili.
Shavili.
Assisted by Quincy
it was-
McKnight.
I mean,
They're a
McDermott
good
hit
team.
back-to-back three-pointers, back-to-back possessions. What do you want him to
I
do?
remember
Evan, you
Aaron
had to be
Thompson.
there. It was
Kid
quite the
stunk.
scene. No, and Tucker made a 3. We hit
Oh my
three
God.
threes in a row to tie the game up, basically take the lead. And then we lost.
Wow. Who would have thought 3 minutes on a Butler 2019
Episode 200. You never know what you're going to get. That's just my point, though. I would like to. Yeah, I guess highlights, lowlights from the ski trip. Well, one, overall great time. It set the bar pretty high, I would say, for any future ski trips. So shout out to Alex's dad for planning the whole thing. Really a great tour guide.
Great guy.
I would say probably similar to your guys' deer camp trips. The ratio to actual activity we're there for and drinking were pretty neck and neck. I would say overall. I will give the group credit, though. I feel like we left it all on the mountain when it came to skiing. I don't think we shortchanged ourselves. I think we pushed it to the limits every day. Quick hour and 15-minute break for lunch each day, and then back to it. Shout out to the whatchamacallit, I guess Denver ski scene where they're early risers and done by 3:30. I like that. If I ever go in Michigan again, which I probably will at some point, but I don't want to do night skiing anymore. I'm not a fan of that. It's too cold. You're tired by that point of the day. So I think they've got it figured out there where you get up early, you get your runs in, and you're done for the rest of the day. It gives you plenty of time to drink. On that topic, I don't know if we've ever done like a best beers draft. I know we've done snake drafts about alcohol, but if we ever do like best drink, I had a whiskey drink, but best drink, the first drink after the ski session, it's got to be pretty high up there. Something about the way that alcohol tasted after that was phenomenal. So that was notable.
What about the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life?
I guess I can try to tell that story. We can try to get people to envision it. Alex,
God, I just wish someone saw it.
I do wish there was a visual of it. Long story short, the second day, the back half of the second day, we went on a lot of easier runs because Alex's future brother-in-law in our group was learning to ski. Shout out to him. And we took him to a couple runs at the end of the day. So we were going on easier ones. I wouldn't say they were boring by any means, but we were trying to spice them up a little bit. So Alex was trying to do follow the leader, like follow me through wooded paths, which were not that intimidating. The ones we were going on, they were like little dip in here, come back out on a trail that was already made for you. Until a couple runs later, I was like, all right, I'll follow you no matter where you go. I said that to him before the run. So he goes into the wood paths, and we quickly realize this isn't like a get back out onto the green run we're on, the easy run we're on. It's like you are in the woods. Like there's so many trees, there's so many like narrow paths, you can't see your way out. So we're going
no end in sight.
We're going a little bit, and I mean, I'm gonna try to look for pictures while I talk, but like it's pretty tight terrain where like it's just your little skis together that can get through these paths, and they're pretty steep, not like a 90-degree drop, but like a 70-degree, a 65-degree, like pretty down, and then it's a hard sharp right or sharp left turn because there's a tree right there. So there's no like smooth turns or like slowing yourself down like pizza style with your skis, like how I ski, because I'm not that good. I'm yelling out to Alex. He's a little ahead of me, and we're both like, holy shit, like how do we get out of here? Panic is starting to set in, and then panic sets in for me because my right ski gets stuck on like a tree root, like a branch grabs it, because the snow is also like 8 feet deep. You don't know it because you're on. We'll get to that. How once you realize how deep it is.
Stick your pole down, and your pole just go down to the ground. You're not hitting the ground.
I see Alex skirt off, and I yell, "I'm stuck! I'm stuck!" He's gone, and I kind of get it because we were in the trenches, but at the moment I'm mother effing him because I'm stuck and I'm scared. So I get my ski out, and I'm starting to get nervous now that my buddy's not around me, and I'm like,
you took your skis off.
But right? Yeah, I get scared.
Skis are off.
I don't want to ski anymore because I'm scared at how steep this is. So I take my skis off, and I'm like, I'm gonna walk out of here. I'm gonna walk out of this trail. Turns out to the 8-foot point, when you try to stick a sharp ski boot into the ground, it sinks like quicksand. It just goes straight to the bottom. So instantly, I'm just arms out like this, snow up to my belly button, just like, oh my God, like how do I get out of here? So you're crawling around, and I'm trying to walk. I keep falling. I'm drenched in sweat now. My heart's probably like 195 beats per minute. Like looking at the time, because we have our phones in our pocket with the passes. It's 2:30. The mountain closes at 3:30. I'm doing instant math. Like, oh, I might be doomed. They might shut down the mountain by the time I get out of this thing. Because I, again, have no idea how long this run lasts. There's no idea. Felt like a half hour went by. It probably was 5 minutes. I hear my phone vibrate. At this point, I'm leaning up against a tree I found, trying to get my skis back on because I realize I cannot walk out of here because I can go like 2 feet without just fully face planting.
That's funny.
Alex calls. He's calling me. I'm like, hello. I'm exasperated. I'm just like, yeah, like mother effing him. Like, you led me back here. This is BS. And he goes, hey. Well, first of all, he goes, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you think I'm doing? I'm battling for my life.
Okay. In my defense, I had been standing. I got out. I've been down there for like 10 minutes just waiting for Grant. And then I'm like, where is he?
So thankfully, he tells me there's only like 2 minutes left. Like, there's a couple more turns and you're out. You'll see the opening. And I was like, oh, God, I'm going to have to ski out. So I get settled. I'm like, all right. And at this point, again, I'm tired now. So my focus is bad. So I'm going down the slopes and I'm not doing it correctly. I'm not even trying to like turn. What I'm doing is trying to go as slow as I can into each tree at the end and brace it with like my forearm. Like kind of like cross my ski poles and like X the tree. So I like brace it away from my body so I don't hit my face or anything. It hurt. My elbow is sore still from this experience. I do a couple of turns. I'm out of control. Like, I'm not under control in this. I finally turn. I see the ending. I see the sliver through the tree. I can kind of see Alex's silhouette, but like the tree coverage has like a hang over the exit, so you don't really see what's out there. So I kind of go, there's a little bit of a drop, and then it's all happening fast. I'm going fast, pizzaing down, and I'm like, oh, I must be good. And I hear Alex like, dude, you did it. And then I quickly realize there's another steep ass drop at the end, but it's already too far gone.
It's just like a 10-foot cliff, just straight up drop.
It's just down. So I'm already going too fast.
Down below.
And I get airborne. I'm flying in the air and I go, oh, and my front of my skis hit and I just go face first into the snow, sprawled across the run, which thankfully nobody was on. It was a desolate run that we were on. And I'm just laying there. And I don't know if you've had this happen, Evan, or if anyone's had it. I've had it happen in football once before when I got hit. But it happens a lot to people when they fall from a high place and they land and you just feel the shot go up your back. Your back just absorbs whatever ground force you took. And my lower right clenched up so bad. Like, I'm just laying there and I'm like, I might be done. Like, I might have to be like put in a stretcher off this mountain because you don't know if it's going to go away. And so I'm moaning. Like, I'm like, oh my God. I'm just mother effing Alex. Like, I hate you. I hate your guts. I'm never following you again. And he's laughing. He's laughing so hard. He's just in my face.
Just like almost pooped my pants laughing so hard. I could not believe what I saw. When he came out off this like cliff, he was just like parallel to the ground and then smacked his face on the ground. He's like crawling around in 6 feet of snow, just like moaning, doing downward dog poses. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I just wish that someone else would have saw it.
Eventually, thankfully, the pain in the back slowly started to go away. It was still tight the rest of the day. It still kind of is. I've been stretching it out. And got back on the skis and we went. But yeah, that's an all-timer.
Recovery process was like 5 to 6 minutes of him crawling around on this path.
Yeah, I lost my poles, lost my skis.
Are all over the place.
But again, thankfully the Lord watched it over. Nobody was on that run. Nobody came by. There was no traffic.
I saw 2 dudes while I was waiting for you.
Could have been worse because, like, if that was a trafficked run and I came flying out of there and speared someone in the chest with my ski, I mean, I had to have been going at least a good 10 to 15 miles an hour just straight out of there down this little drop.
You didn't hit the drop. You just went over it.
I went over the drop.
This looked like a flying squirrel. But Grant moaning and screaming as he's going across. God, it's good.
But all things considered, take that in terms of injuries on the trip. That's the worst one. We'll take that every time. Yeah, those are, I guess, some funny stories that we keep to ourselves. And that was the trip. Not sure what's next, but that was a pretty high bar, I would say. Great food, too. Great food the entire time.
Gotta get the golf trip with them, and then Evan, bring some other friends into the mix. Those get pretty fun
Those
too.
are good times.
We need to get Evan.
Because there's a lot. There's even more drinking because you're drinking during activities.
You're drinking during the activity.
Yeah, you don't really drink them. Yeah, I think we're not gonna be able to get Tyler's instructor. I think we need to get Evan a ski lesson with an instructor at Pine Knob, and then I think he'd be in.
It's too
I think we just
expensive of a
take
hobby.
Evan on the next ski trip, and then
You're
just
not
make
wrong
him
with
do
that.
it.
You're not. That there
It
is.
is expensive for sure.
No, we don't have to go to Vail. You know, that's probably
Right.
the higher end of.
Expensive hobby.
There's more affordable ones,
Alex was
but
my first experience, so I told myself I'd never have to do it again.
I don't think it was my fault.
It was 100%
Specifically,
your
the
fault.
I would say it's the mountain's fault for having one run open the entire day. That was
Yeah.
all ice. That was
That was
crazy.
tough.
Is that? I guess that's into sports now. Michigan State. We'll talk about them together, I guess. Let's start with Michigan State. Your guys' instant reaction to the Purdue game?
It's a big win. Good win. Needed win.
Oh, please. More excited than that.
I'm not that excited because we still have a lot of work to do.
I'm more excited than that. It's the biggest win of the season so far.
That's what I said. I told Marissa that. Did you think you're going to win going into the game? Be honest.
I
Yes.
did. I thought we
I
were going to
did.
get our doors blown off of us at Illinois on Saturday night. And
It looked like we
down
were going to.
16, and I said, told you. I was watching it with a couple buddies, and I said, told you. I was more interested in the hockey game at that point.
Mm.
We got to halftime down 4, and then after, like, it was an intermission, then went back to basketball. We were tied 41-41. That was fully invested.
I'm
Purdue game,
surprised.
biggest win.
I
hated
thought
the
Purdue
entire
was a good
second
matchup
half.
for us.
Hated the entire second half. My stomach felt like it was a March Madness game.
I didn't feel that way. I mean, when it would get down from like 12 to 6, I got nervous, as Grant knows when we watch games. And Grant probably thinking, oh, it's probably over. Us thinking it's close. That's kind of how that was going.
I said dagger a lot tonight. Got yelled at for it.
Yeah, that's just rude.
You know what the real dagger was? The true
Cold
dagger
car,
of when you could have just been
dump.
like the Frankie Fiddler tomahawk slam to go up 11 towards the start of the second half. That was
Yeah, I was
like
feeling pretty good at that point.
the real dagger was when Trey Holloman made that and one. That was one of the most absurd and ones I've ever seen, running to his right and injured Cam Heidi in the process of making an and one over him. I was like, Purdue's not going into Breslin winning that game if you're making those and one shots at the end of the shot
The
clock.
Carson Cooper fall away shot as well. Another shot. You just be like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, there was a couple of those tonight. And also just credit to Michigan State. Their guards are absolute pit bulls. I mean, I've never seen Purdue, especially like, it's all on a scale, but like Braden Smith still fills up the box score. But like for real Braden Smith heads, 6 turnovers, that's not him. Fletcher Laura looked completely scared to like shoot the ball or do anything at certain points in that game. So I think that's just, again, testament to the defense that Michigan State plays with their guards.
We have a nasty defense if we could just get a little better on offense.
Yeah. Or just pull the St. John's that Rick Pitino's doing, where like you guys are the two teams that don't need to shoot the ball from 3 that well and continue to win games.
Except their offense is terrible.
Pretty bad.
They're 80th in the efficiency in offense. We're 23rd.
That's a big difference.
They're second on defense. We're 13th.
So many alley-oops. It felt like a dunk contest at
10
one point for
dunks.
Michigan State. Just the alley-oops every single time down.
Yeah, the last 2 games, Michigan State's really found a lot of success in the little pick and roll oop dunk that we got going. Carson Cooper has like 4 dunks a game now.
I'm trying to think of what else. I don't know. Minutes vary so much by game, but as we get closer, seems like my Xavier Booker X Factor take is not aging super well. Seems like he shot a 3
Barely
tonight. I
played
go,
tonight.
oh, I didn't know he was playing tonight, or didn't know he was on the team for this stretch, or like if he was hurt or something. So he does not need to be the X
Played
Factor,
the
I guess.
least amount of minutes of anybody that played by a lot.
Or I could pivot and say if he does play and get good down the stretch, that's the key to unlocking the national championship.
I think he's matchup dependent. And clearly we thought he was not a good matchup tonight.
He could be. You could throw him on Danny Wolf, maybe. Similar
No.
build. No.
No, I don't think so. I don't know what we're gonna do to guard him.
We'll get to it.
Cohen Carr. Cohen Carr.
I have some thoughts. What was my other question? Oh, earlier this week, like Evan mentioned, might have been the more impressive win considering it was a road game to a team you had already beat earlier in the year. Illinois, the bad blood, their fan base had spent probably a month talking about
Complaining.
that game, getting ready for that
Such a
game.
bitch.
Now, they did kind of fall off a little bit, even sliding into that game, but still, that was kind of what they're going to stake their reputation on. Izzo breaks the record that night. Question for Evan to tee you up. I feel like this might be a question you guys can answer 10 years from now when you actually have more perspective, but does it set in, or like what's it like to witness Izzo's greatness overall? Like
All
I
of it.
feel your entire life.
Like our whole
it
life
just
was
we
him.
always talk about how weird it's going to be
All
to have a
we've known.
different basketball
It's the
coach.
only
but
coach we've known.
did you get more
Only coach
sentimental
we've
that
ever had.
night, or was it in the heat of the Big Ten chase? You're like, I just got to focus on the next game.
Wasn't really that night because it's kind of the build up to it. Kind of wish it happened at home. So there's a bigger. I would say probably the next day when they started releasing all the edited videos.
Oh, those are nice.
A bunch
I
of
love
people
when teams do
congratulating
that.
them. All the teams they had, all the past players, all the highlights and memories. You're kind of like, wow. And then I always recently, just how much have I missed it since we're really good this year, is thinking about, wow, like 4 years ago, we were in the student section watching these games.
Mm.
3 years ago,
Think
we were
about
in
that
the
a
student
lot.
section watching these games.
You had to feel that tonight. That atmosphere was nice tonight.
Like today, so it's scum week, hate week, rivalry week, and then they just done a bunch of recaps of the past Michigan games, like Cassius Winston games, basically. It's like, there
The
I am
game we
sitting
were
in the
at to
front
win the
row,
Big Ten.
in the third row, right behind the bench. Like I can see myself. I miss those
Very
times.
sad. Yeah, that part's definitely very sad. It helps because we've been bad the last 4 years. Not bad, but not good. So when you're watching these games, you're just worried about making the tournament, not thinking about, oh, it's really cool when I was there. But now that's what I'm thinking. Very sad.
Who was the most surprising person in this video? We're pulling up the coaches. I get the coaches and like older people
Tim
video
Miles,
they did.
for sure.
Who is that?
He's the coach of Nebraska.
coach.
Oh,
Then he was on BTN.
Phil Knight threw
Jim
me for a
Nance was
loop.
kind of wild.
Phil Knight would be different. Well, Phil Knight also gave Tom Izzo like part ownership at Nike if he would have went to Oregon.
Really?
Yeah, he chased him hard.
Early 2000s.
Sliding doors moment. Bo looked like he has the nicest life right now.
Bo looks like he
saw it.
smokes cigarettes every single day still.
Okay. Whatever that poolside setup is, I was like full quarter zip in like 85-degree weather. Bo Ryan's living life right now. Travis Matthew hat. Greg Campy, sure.
I don't know who that guy is. It must be like
He's
a
former assistant
alum.
coach. Then he
Okay.
left and he came back.
Coach K. Tony Petiti had to insert himself in there. Didn't
Big
need
Ten
that.
commish.
I mean, he was reading from a freaking
Former Big
chalkboard
Ten
right
com-
behind
yeah.
him.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
like his. Rick Barnes can't win in the tournament. Nice. Dave Revson.
He's
Surprised
Big Ten.
he got in there.
Big Ten Network, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised he got a shot.
Big Ten
He's been with
Network.
BTN ever since. He's been covering him for years.
Cream,
Coach
Keedy.
K.
Bruce Pearl, quick plug too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Oh, and then his
That was sad.
mom. That was
well, it wasn't
sentimental.
sad, but
That
it's
really
tear
tied it all home.
I'll be honest, I'm kind of shocked like Coach Cal did it.
Why? Tom's well respected.
I
This
get
is
that,
great.
but
No Mick
Coach-
Cronin. I thought that was
Like
his
Izzo
idol.
doesn't have any like.
oh no, McCrone.
Were there any
Thad Matta.
no active Big Ten coaches?
No Dusty May.
What?
John Beeline. Well, no, I guess not. Yeah, you're active. You're right. Oh, Thad
No
was in
active
there.
Big Ten coaches.
Grant, watch your mouth. I just saw Thad's face.
Yeah, Thad was in there.
Oh,
That was in
he's
there for a half a second.
barely in there. You gotta really.
No Big Ten active coaches are in this video.
I guess that. No,
Are you
Matt
saying-
Painter.
Wait,
Matt Painter's in
Matt
there.
Painter was in
Matt
there.
Painter's all up in there, Alex.
Wow, Dusty May's a piece of shit then.
They probably didn't ask him. He doesn't have the street cred yet.
They never.
He's never
Tom's
even
never
played.
played Dusty May.
They only know each other through Dane Fife.
Mick Cronin, though, I thought. Evan, did you?
Surprised Dwayne Stevens and
This
Mark
is off.
Montgomery
This
aren't on there.
is wild, off the cut. But
Off the record,
there's
you mean?
been no.
Or no?
You can keep this on. It's
Oh.
just like a wild out of nowhere thing. But There's rumors that are coach in waiting. Do you know who it is, Evan?
Drew Valentine.
No, yeah. I mean, it's not him, but they're
Haven't
not
heard.
currently at Michigan State.
5 years, 6 years
No,
from now.
whenever Izzo's done.
That many more years?
Who the guy Izzo has picked?
Dusty May.
Jay Bright.
No, they're
Shooting for
currently
stars.
coaching.
I don't know.
Nick Cronin.
Nope.
Go ahead. It's gonna be some name.
Shaka Smart.
Shaka Smart.
I don't think
Yeah.
Evan likes him. Or I don't think Evan's
Apparently,
super high
he
on
is
him.
the guy. Which is kind of wild.
Plays
Our
good
defense would be
defense.
good.
I don't
rebounds
see
and runs.
Shaka and Tom Izzo like getting along.
I think Izzo. I mean, whoever it's going to be, Izzo's picking him. So
Well, yeah. Unless the board stabs him in the back like they did Mark Antonio.
Wow.
I think it's different. Izzo like runs.
Scarred.
on
Evan
campus.
is clearly not over that.
The football coach should run the university.
Well, Izzo does.
Well,
I get Izzo does just because of his fame and fortune, but every other university, the football coach runs the university.
tell me Jonathan Smith is going to have to step up into that role when Izzo leaves.
No, because Shaka Smart's going to be there. They're going to do
Marquette
it together.
is 19-6
Shaka
this year.
Smart.
That's
I
At
don't
least
know
spicy.
if I
be
can
an
get behind
exciting
that.
hire.
You already
Be
beat him in the
something.
tournament. That's why he let you guys win the tournament. It all makes sense now. He's auditioning.
Well, Shaka's still stupid for ever leaving Texas. I just don't see.
Shaka got kicked out of Texas.
Mm.
Forced out. Because they're a football school and he didn't get what he wanted.
Marquette,
Built a new arena.
Marquette's a better job. Evan, best conference in the country, cares about basketball.
Marquette has been better since he left than Texas has.
Buzz
They're
Williams.
also
Killing
the
guy-
Stanford.
Cam
17 and a half.
Jones.
Cam Jones is sick.
Quickly, on the other side for the Wolverines before we preview Friday, which will be very exciting, even though we have different things going on in our lives for it. Honestly, I don't know how to say this. I don't want this to get
It's a bunch of wins
misconstrued.
by 4 points.
I don't want this to get misconstrued.
Here it's going to be.
I'm having a great time with this team. A great time. I can tell from my thoughts, a little bit of Twitter,
Lost since my birthday. You guys are fine.
They just
tell
barely
from
win every game.
my thoughts, the Michigan group chat, and some of the fan base on Twitter, we're just not all sure what to think of this team yet. It's like, well, one, context is important. Haven't seen good basketball in a little bit. Last year was the worst. I think Jeff Rieger tweeted out it's the biggest year-to-year improvement in the program's history. But he had a good stat. I respect his stats. That was like, oh, wow.
I think they said that on the broadcast on Sunday.
So we're still getting used to it. And it's just this stretch here, like you see, like Alex said, it's been 6 games in a row that have all been with the most 4 points. Like there's not a game in this
Look at
last
the
8 of
stretch
last 9.
that you need. Those are fake. I've been trying to look at tickets. Those are low.
I look at Ticketmaster. They're
8
200
of the
bucks
last
for the
9
Michigan
within.
State.
Yeah,
For
SeatGeek
Friday.
is where I look. It's every game's tight, and even you go back to their losses to start the year, like Wake Forest 2 points, Wisconsin was 3, Iowa 2, Arkansas 2, Oklahoma and 1-3 by the Fierce kid to win the game. Like the West Coast stretch was the best, and then so when we last recorded was after the Purdue blowout. I could tell you right now that stretch from Minnesota, Northwestern, Purdue. I thought there's no way in hell this team's competing for the Big Ten. The rest of the way, if you had told me right then, that's the team. You go to Purdue, first of all, you go to overtime with Northwestern after losing to Minnesota in overtime. I'm like, that's not great. And then you go to Purdue and you lose by 30, and it wasn't even close 5 minutes into the game. I'm like, this team's done. But they've managed to just kind of keep winning games by the skin of their teeth. Granted, some of these were like, Purdue hit like 2 threes, Braden Smith down the stretch to make it a 2-point game at the end. But still, you get my point. They're toss-ups within the last 5 minutes of the game. And they just keep winning them. And now they're sitting here with the game of the season against Michigan State. And there's a little bit of a separation for those two teams from the rest, especially if Wisconsin were to lose. I don't know what to think. It's still a weird thing. I'm comparing it to what I know. It reminds me a little bit, it's a different sport, but of the Minnesota Vikings 2022, which I use as a test case for a lot of things. Won the NFC North 13-4, but throughout the year, everyone kind of called them frauds. And I would say no one's called Michigan frauds, but they certainly haven't gotten like the national buzz or like respect. Obviously, the SEC is getting a lot of respect, but even seeing Wisconsin ranked ahead of us and higher and everything in metrics, Michigan is not a metrics select team by any means, which is fine. I'm not expecting them to be, but it's starting to get to that point where I'm like, should I believe those people? And this is all a house of cards waiting to fall, or is this just one of those teams where they keep finding ways to win games and getting a little bit of luck on their side? I don't know. And then it's like, right now, I'm just focused on the Big Ten race. Postseason is what it is, but from where this program was, like that would be a massive accomplishment. And yeah, it would suck to lose early on in the actual tournament. But I would certainly take if you could guarantee me a Big Ten title right now, and they don't make the Sweet 16, I would sign up for that. I think I would take it, given the full context of where this team was last year and how low it was. The unbelievable word we don't like to say, I guess I did say, I think going back to the year, I remember being high on Dusty early because he was talking about we're going to use analytics to see which lineups play the best together. I'm like, I don't think Juwan Howard ever did that. So that's super cool. And then I started seeing like some of the pieces and I was like, this team could be maybe like top 5, top 4 in the Big Ten at their peak, but I never saw this. So certainly unlikely that they would ever be in this situation. So I'm kind of just trying to take it one game at a time, but I don't really know what to think about this team. Like I'm confident that they're talented, but I don't I don't know what to think when it really gets nitty gritty.
Well, bad news for you is they're going to lose back-to-back games here. So
yeah, Nebraska
right out of the race.
$7.
Yeah, it's a tournament team. I told you guys.
Or are you saying Maryland, Michigan State, they lose those two?
No. Michigan State, Nebraska.
That would suck. That would certainly make things tighter for the rest of the year.
I don't know.
Kansas
I think you
is
should just be
losing
grateful.
again.
Enjoy the ride.
Like I don't know what you guys have seen of them. Do you look at them the same way I do, where you're like, you take them seriously, I guess, because they've made it this far, but I don't know, like...
100% take them seriously.
All right, love that, Evan.
I don't know how to word this. I think they're a good team, but at the same time, like they're not a team that like scares me or worries me. I guess what I'm saying, when I fill out my bracket and Michigan's a 4 or a 3 or 5 or whatever they're going to end up, who knows how the rest of the season goes. Like I'll have a lot of pause putting them to win against good teams.
They're
like
Sweet 16
another
caliber.
4 or 5.
They're a matchup nightmare until they get down to the stretch, to the last 2-3 minutes of the game.
They just have two
Why?
problems.
Because you need guard play. They don't have guard
Depth,
play.
turnovers.
Their best player is a matchup nightmare for 99% of the country.
Till he turns the ball over 5 times.
Correct. Turnovers, though that's due to the fact that they don't have elite guard play.
Got a little better, though.
They have scores. They have experience at that
Can you
position.
pull up their schedule again? Like, what's their best win? Purdue?
I would say at Wisconsin now is their best win of the season.
Is definitely their best win.
They were 11th at the time and are back
early.
into 11. Yeah.
And that was early. So.
But
UCLA's a good win by 20, 19.
Yeah.
UCLA was a nice win. I stayed up for that puppy.
That provoked the Mick Cronin.
Yeah.
I played
obviously Purdue at home. Purdue's on a little bit of a slide now. It seems like everybody can beat Purdue.
UCLA, Purdue. I mean, there's 3 quality wins. I mean, you look at Michigan State's schedule. We don't have. We would probably have the same amount, like 3 quality wins. Purdue.
The only thing that gives me pause is that Michigan wins every game, but they don't blow up. They're not blowing out bad teams, which you would like to see. Like an elite team, that's what they do.
Correct.
Really, just since that West Coast trip, but I don't. And again, that's why I keep wrestling.
The loss
with
in Minnesota is so weird. I don't.
Right.
We lost to
won
Indiana
by
at home.
50 to them.
I'd rather lose to Minnesota on the road than Indiana at home. There.
Minnesota, not the worst team in the league, though. I thought they would end up being. They're not. They've done better, so I'll give them credit. I don't know.
I guess I would just want to see Michigan flex their muscles a little bit and beat up on some bad teams, but we're not going to.
Well, in fairness, in a lot of these games, they do have like a 15, 16-point lead, and then
that's the thing, though. They blow it
to bed with their guard play.
Every game with turnovers.
The cool part, though, has been with Purdue and Ohio State. Those games were not that script. Purdue, they were down by like 10 points in the second half, and I was like, oh, here we go. Ohio State was back and forth the entire game. So that has been good to see.
A good game. Good basketball game.
One of the better college basketball games I've watched. Something about those two teams playing in that arena just delivers. But
Spiridides on the call.
Yeah. If this team handles business on Friday night, they're at home, first leg of that vaunted stretch. They win that game. I think I'm fully sucked in. I think I'm fully in.
Vaunted stretch? That's not a vaunted stretch.
Well, the 2 games against Michigan State is what I'm saying.
Our schedule.
Home and away, Champions League. Count the goals. That's basically what it is.
We could be out of the Big Ten race by the time we get back to East Lansing against you guys.
Yeah, I guess so.
If playing for 4th place, get a double bye.
With the lead they have, with how it stands now, I know it's only you guys again are only 1 behind, but like you said, your schedule as well.
Half game.
Half. My expectations are to at least share that title. It will be disappointing, which is crazy to say, considering where this team was last year, to be expecting a share. But with the situation they put themselves in, I have to expect it, especially knowing your guys' situation on the other side.
Spiro Didi's for Wisconsin. Nice.
Can I say this? Truce for each other. I'd rather see you guys win the title outright than Wisconsin.
You're still holding that grudge.
I hate that program. Yeah, man. I do.
I mean, I'd rather Wisconsin won than you guys.
I'm not expecting the same in return.
I'd rather have any team besides Michigan win it.
I would go Michigan.
Dusty May, though.
Michigan, Purdue, Michigan State, Wisconsin.
It is good to see that Dusty May isn't a one-hit wonder with FAU.
I think it could be fair to say that. I think some of his ATOs versus Ohio State down the stretch were disgusting.
Oh my god!
For Roddy Gale, used Danny Wolf as a decoy and had everyone looking at Danny Wolf and had Roddy Gale twice.
Those plays are the plays you bookmark on Twitter to save for your future reference when you're a coach later in life.
I think this is a good time to ask the question, what's the ceiling for both of these teams? What's your newfound ceiling and floor?
I mean, both these teams can make an Elite Eight.
Yeah. There's only one way to answer this
ceiling
question,
evidence
Alex,
as high as they can go.
And it is with the latest Joe Lunardi bracketology. I want to do a new segment. Bracketology Bert. And this is where we step into his chamber.
Stinks at it. We're bracket matrix people.
Well, I need an actual bracket, though. I can't just look at a bunch of names.
Fine.
It's defensive efficiency. How good are both teams defensively?
Michigan State and Michigan have to get to the 3 line because the 4
give me
is
Kansas.
Tough.
We would never shoot 10% from the field
but then
ever
we would
again.
get Duke in the Sweet 16. It'd be terrible.
Well, it's all about
I
the
do
draw.
think these teams are 1 seed dependent. I don't think
Duke.
that's a surprise. That would be cool for you guys. I would say if it's all a draw, like Evan says, he'll tell you that when we get to the bracket show. It's all about the draw. If this happened, I think you guys would lose to Duke in the Sweet 16. But I think you have I think both of our teams could be in the Final 4. No doubt. There's always a team in that.
But Alex, on this string, there's no reason why we can't jump up to a 3 seed.
Right. I know. I want to get to a 3 and then face a 2 in the Sweet 16.
Like Tennessee.
Drop us down to the 7 seed. Let's play in Cleveland against Tennessee. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I don't care what our number is. Just
we
give me a
physically
location
can't fall to a 7. I told you guys that 2 weeks ago.
I know, determine doesn't mean anything because they don't pair up the numbers
of the
seeds anymore.
It's just location.
It's all about geographic location. So F the seeds basically
Where's
anymore, and just give me a good location against a favorable matchup.
That's a TV matchup. Yale, Michigan in the second round.
Because it's what's his name's former team.
Yeah.
Well,
Yale upsets Missouri. I saw one, Evan, where we were 5 and we played McNeese. So I was like, I don't want that matchup.
No. Don't want that. This I would actually take. I think Alabama's a 1 seed. You would be more okay playing because of just their style of ball.
They don't play defense?
Yeah. Either they're a style matchup where maybe we run it. I don't want to play Houston. Houston
Illinois
would rough
being
this team up.
6.
Houston would rough us up. Don't want to play Kentucky.
Houston.
Oh, I'd play Kentucky. I don't think they're that good.
I just think
there's 2 teams I don't want to play. Duke, Auburn.
I agree.
Avoid Duke and Auburn, and I feel okay about anybody.
Florida's got great guards as well.
Florida's got to prove it for me, At least when I see their name, I'm not going to be like, oh, it's Florida.
So what are we thinking about
title now?
Friday night now? Any keys of the game? Any things you think this hinges on?
Well, in fairness, I do like our matchup against Purdue going right into the Michigan matchup because it's the same thing. It's ball screen defense.
How's your 3-point shooting?
Pretty good.
Who's going to fill it up for you?
Michigan's not that
deep. Burnett shoots a lot, and he's pretty good at shooting. At least he has been. I'm not throwing any jinxes on him or anything like that.
We draw a lot of fouls. We got Frankie Fiddler.
It's definitely going to be a tempo game. I think both fan bases, though, watching their teams, like you guys, I think it works for both teams. I think you guys are better as a deep team, the way you like to run. And Michigan does. Dusty likes his teams to run.
Yeah,
but
let's
I will
speed it
say,
up.
because of our depth and how he built his team through the transfer portal, I like that we're not deep. It's just we have to get those stoppages in play, use our timeouts right, so we're not gassed and going on letting 8-0 runs happen to
What
us.
about foul trouble?
Yeah, that'll be huge, right? Like if Golden or one of the bigs get into foul trouble. The one underrated dude for Michigan that could be a pain in your ass if we end up winning this game is Will Cheddar. That dude has grown so much since his
he's a problem.
days,
Definitely at home. He's
Watching
just
Ohio
like
State, he seemed like a hack at times out there. Just
well, I don't think he's like that good at basketball, but he's an energy guy, especially in a home building where he'll make a couple plays and
he can
go.
He'll pop out. He's the dirty guy. Like if he's gonna get a flagrant, he got one against Ohio State. Like he's kind of that pain in the ass.
Those are the role players in big games that when you're at home, they always rise up, and then you're like, can't wait to play this team at home. Not on the road.
My gut feeling. I mean, obviously there's the obvious things, right? Rebounding, limiting transition points. Those are just things with Michigan State you just have to have. The thing for me after watching the Purdue game is that I think a lot of people be like, "Oh, Michigan's guards or Michigan's wings and guards need to step up." I don't think you can ask them to do that given the matchup they're about to face with the defense. I think you just have to abuse the 5 and the 4 spot with mainly Golden. I think Golden has to have a huge game. Trey Coffin-Red had 24 points tonight. 9 of 13. I think he was passive at times and passed out of a lot of stuff where he should have just took his time and kept attacking Cooper and Kohler. I think he should have gone for 35 points. Like I think that's what Purdue needed. And that's what I think Golden.
That's what Tom's going to want you to do, though.
I think
watched this.
I think that's
Tom's
the
going to take the one-on-one chances in the
or
post
Dickinson when he had his 30-point game. Like I think if you're Michigan, you
that
have
only
to
works if you knock down threes.
Yes, you need to hit that strategy early. Do not be cute. Go down low, and then you start kicking out to your Namari Burnett's. And no offense to Cam Heidi's and the shooters for Purdue. Namari Burnett, as a home shooter, needs to knock those down. And that's when things – I don't think you can rely on like Trey Donaldson playing the best game of his life because it's just too tall of a task for him to do with Michigan State. On your guys' side of the ball, my only thought before I toss it to you guys is I would say the parts when we have to spell – Trey Donaldson, or if he gets in foul trouble, when you bring in Pippen and Kaysen, I think that's when you have to pounce. And that's when you need to go on your 8-0 runs and just fluster the offense in general, maybe get a couple pick sixes. Like I think those that you had with Purdue today, where they looked uncharacteristic and threw some balls away and you capitalize on the other end. I think those are because like Donaldson can hold things down. But when we have to go to the bench guards, that's when you really have to get after it.
I mean, if we could put Braden Smith in a torture chamber, I don't really care who we're guarding. I think we can do that to any guards, cause problems. And Michigan already turns the ball over at a high rate. So if Michigan State does turn Michigan over, I think it'll be a problem for Michigan. If Michigan takes care of the ball, I think Michigan State will be in trouble. I think it's pretty much that simple. The Cohen card dunks count for like 4 points. They're just absolute team ralliers, so you need to avoid those at all costs. Take him out at the legs if he goes up. Can't let him dunk. Because, I mean, they just change games. That's crazy to say, but I honestly think they change games for us. Izzo has even said it. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I want to see who guards Danny Wolf. I think Cohen Carr.
Evan, who would you put on him?
A lot of games, I see Kohler on him to start the game.
Won't work.
I don't watch a lot of Michigan basketball. I've watched him a little bit more recently, but I don't see Danny Wolf posting up that much as I do most big men. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right, but he did have 2 disgusting Dirk Nowitzki fadeaways against Ohio State when it mattered. But Correct. He does not post up. He does not post up.
I live for those.
Disgusting.
Nice.
So
those are nice.
The way the Fiddler played defense today, I wouldn't mind him guarding him. I wouldn't mind Cohen Carr guarding him. I don't need a post player on him.
Is there any Carson Cooper length that could disrupt them? I'm in my head. I'm thinking of what.
Carson Cooper is not very good one-on-one defense. He's decent at like what am I looking for? Pick and roll defense. But I'm guessing Kohler's going to probably be on him to start because Cooper's going to be on, or Zapala's going to be on Vladdy. So, biggest
Probably
issue
just
would be
rotating
but they are going to rotate, but that's going to
the
be the
three
first 4
bigs
minutes of the
just
basketball
at
game.
Golden the whole time. I'm throwing those 3 guys, Kohler, Cooper.
I think the biggest issue is
Zapala,
Kohler gets into foul
Golden
trouble
only.
with Danny Wolf. I think that would be the biggest look ahead.
I don't think we have to worry about foul trouble. All our bigs get 4 fouls a game.
Yeah, but I can live with Carson Cooper getting in foul trouble. I can live with Zapala getting in foul trouble.
Yeah, and I think they will. They'll come in, they'll do the dirty body work.
We cannot live with Kohler getting in foul trouble. He stretches the defense out, makes the post player have to come guard him.
Well, Kohler's guarding Golden. That's already decided by me.
Zapala is guarding Golden to start the game the first 4 minutes.
Yeah, Zapala plays like the least amount of minutes of anybody on the team besides Booker. And then I'm just firing Carr, Booker, and Fiddler at. He still was the second least minutes of anybody. He doesn't play that much. But Carr on Wolf seems like the most logical. He's athletic enough.
Just gotta talk to Carr before the game, slap him on the shoulders, and say, "I need 30 minutes of hell on Danny Wolf from you. Like, I need everything you have."
No reason he can't do it.
This game, I think he's, from what I've watched of Danny every game, I think he's the best bet because of just sheer athleticism and quickness. Again, Danny Wolf does play at his own pace. Like, we'll see like what level of athleticism does rattle him. Like, there is a threshold, but like he does have that slow European style to his game where like he just will get to his spot. The biggest thing will just be those pick and rolls at the top of the key. Purdue played it the best the first time we played them because they could switch like everything. But just Golden and Danny Wolf, what 2 Spartans get put in that conflict and how do they do? And then also which guards are helping off and who are you helping off of? Not to give it away, but they know if you help off of Reuben Jones and Roddy Gale, that's smarter than helping off of Namari Burnett or Will Cheddar or some of the other guys that can knock down threes. That's really the key. The X factor in this entire game, I don't know how much he'll play. It could be nothing, or it could be like, whoa, is LJ Kaysen. He's come on a little bit recently. He had a nice 5-point spurt versus Ohio State. Yes, looks just like Nigel Hayes. Good comp. He's like the most athletic player Michigan has in a game where Michigan State has a lot of athletic guards. Problem is defensively. I mean, he's going to give you up 5 points as easily as he can score them. So I don't know what his trajectory is in this game, but he's a guy in the mix where like you look back on those role players like Shedder or someone, LJ Kaysen could be a name for Michigan, but very intriguing matchup, I would say. I mean, Michigan's just a unique matchup for every team with those 2 bigs. It's just such a weird brand of basketball to play where he's like a de facto point guard. Like we talk about Michigan's guard play, but like their second guard is basically a 7-foot white dude who just brings the ball up and gets into a ball screen and tries to make a play.
Prediction?
So I'm trying to think of the score. We haven't done basketball scores.
It's been a while.
I think these 2 teams like to run. I think they like to scoot. 77-75 Michigan. Missed Aiken's 3 for the win.
Michigan State's held 4 of their last 5 opponents under 67 points.
I like the over.
So that would be change.
I like to buck the trend there. I like the over.
You said Michigan by how much?
2.
Gross. That'd make it harder to swallow.
Missed Aiken's 3 at the buzzer.
I'll go 70-65. Michigan.
Whoa.
It's home crowd.
I'll go.
The Chrysler Library?
I'll go 80-73 Michigan State.
That's what
I like that. That's a good basketball game.
I don't know how Michigan's defense is. I don't watch them close enough.
It's
they gave
optional.
up 83 to Ohio State, so that's
our defense is optional,
like,
Alex. That's why we end up in those games. Are we going to be able to
run? If we can run, I think you guys are.
We run, though.
We want the teams to both be running because we're better at it. That's how I think we feel.
That's fair. But I don't like this isn't like a beeline team.
If you want to get in a track meet with us, I think we're going to win.
Yeah, it's true.
Michigan might just go 2-3 zone and just
We do play a nice zone. We destroyed Purdue with our zone.
You played a zone? You guys actually play zone?
We played a nice little zone. We do a lot. We did Ohio State too.
Yeah, but you saw what Tom said last week.
Purdue, Indiana a little bit. It was just a zone off against Indiana.
You guys had to shoot in an away gym in Chrysler with all the yellow around. It's a maze out. You're gonna have to shoot because you're not gonna get your 20-point Kohler game. I would be stunned if any bigs had like 12 points, maybe off of the alley oops, but still, like, there's so many trees down there.
We live in the paint against whoever we play.
Well, then that's gonna be the.
We do. We just live in the paint, but
your guards getting straight line drives. Yes, it's a straight line drive fest. Like, we're not the fleetest of foot team, but you're not going to pose. I don't, clip it, but I don't think Kohler or Cooper are like lighting up the point stat sheet in this game. I think it's going to have to come from the outside, but those could be
Kohler
points in the paint with drives.
7-foot Illinois kid, which was surprising. I mean,
as much as as enemies as he made, Golden is still. I mean, he'll probably be a first team All Big Tenner by the end of the year, second team at the worst. Like, he is solid.
You see what Thomas said about zone?
Yeah, he wants it. I don't know if does he actually want it.
He told every team to play it against us because he's ready for it.
I think Evan's calling his bluff. I know Evan's calling his bluff.
Michigan State only has 2 shooters that I think we can rely on making shots.
Kurtang and
I'll say Kurtang.
Richardson,
Jason
for sure. Holloman.
So that's
and
2 not to help
used to
off
be
of.
able to shoot. He just can't shoot this year. Right now.
For your surprise, Alex, look at this tempo: 168 Michigan State, Michigan 54. This team plays fast.
Yeah, but Michigan State's number 1 in fast break points in the country.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's why I like the over. I like this track meet that's going to be happening.
I like the over because Michigan State scores 200 and Michigan scores 0.
Damn.
I don't know. I don't even know what to expect.
I don't know. I'm excited. I'll be watching on my phone.
Do you think there's any chance a team gets blown out?
No, I don't. Well, if there was one, no, I don't, because I do think Michigan's up for it. They're rested. You guys had some emotional wins recently.
You know what I say about too much rest in basketball?
Yeah, Dusty did say, they asked him about like, is it an advantage? And he goes, honestly, the ideal time off for a team is probably 2 to 3 days, not 4. But he's like, coaches complain about it either way. So our schedule is our schedule.
Told you.
But we had a bunch of days off before a different game. We played fine. So they'll figure it out.
Evan thinks blowout's possible. He could see those Cohen Carr alley-oops going down, and
it'd be the other way around.
Yeah. Well, Evan, we don't do that.
If a team blows it,
we don't do that to teams.
If there's a blowout, it's Michigan blowing.
Most likely script is the Purdue script, which I'm totally okay with, where we win a squeaker at home and then lose by 15 on the road, and I'm totally okay with that. I've signed up for that. That's fine with me.
Well, in fairness,
I want to win by 20.
Last year was the first year, and I don't know how long that Michigan State actually won at Chrysler.
Yeah, I did the ladder play. It was awesome.
Yeah.
The first sweep, I think, since Cassius's last year.
We won 3 we won all 3 matchups.
Yes, my finalism, fullism.
I did, trust me, I did start pointing.
2018 we lost there, 2017 we lost there, 2016 we lost there.
We went to one of those games and got absolutely
Robin shot 90% from the field, and they were shooting 70-some%. And we left at halftime. I got home from Ann Arbor to my house, my parents' house in Tecumseh, before the game was even over with.
That's crazy.
We were down like 30 at half.
I laid in bed, and the game was still going on.
I think. Did you leave? Did we leave together?
Yeah, me, you, and Cody McCray went. You went with Cody McCray. You guys drove back to East Lansing, I drove back home.
Oh,
that's crazy. I said I was starting to pull an Evan. I looked up some YouTube highlights of the season. The last seasons that Michigan's won the Big Ten.
It's fun to do.
It is. Well, besides COVID, which, again, I can look back on. That team was awesome, but funky season. The last legit.
You cried on your floor the last game.
Was 2014 for Michigan. Nick Stauskas led Wolverines, went on a great tour through the Big Ten. The year after the Final Four is when they hit their peak in the Big Ten.
Michigan won at Michigan State.
Yep.
College game day. I was at that game.
Nick Stauskas blew kisses. He had a lot of threes.
The game Evan and I are referring to occurred on February 7th, 2017. We lost 86 to 57. Got
Derek
nuked.
Walton probably banging some threes.
No, Duncan Robinson.
Duncan Robinson
I
hit
need to get
threes.
the
I remember
box score for
vividly
this.
after he made like his first two, like, dude, he's a D3 basketball player. He's not this good. Boom, bang, boom, bang.
You signed like an 80 million. I think good for him. What a rise from D3 to like $80 million contract in the
Then he
NBA.
sucked right after that contract. But
He's got a good podcast though. I think.
Does he?
I think he makes money off that.
here's the box score. Oh yeah. Oh, Derek Walton had 20.
Yes, great point guard.
Give me the box score. Miles Bridges had 15.
Oh, was that your
It
freshman?
was 55-29.5, dude.
That was your guys' like freshman star-studded team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
You
were
were
not
a
ready.
8 seed or 9 seed and lost to Kansas. Yeah. Switching off of hoops.
55-29.
Oh, come on.
Four
man,
Nations.
too.
Anyone? Hockey guy Evan.
I'm all in.
Yeah, it's great.
I don't feel great about Thursday night.
I
hard
don't
to-
either.
Sweatfest.
Hard to beat a team twice in a couple days.
And you're injured.
We're injured. They're healthy.
And
It's
they're
at home
pissed
ice,
now.
though. They have more
We're probably
talent.
going to boo the anthem. They're going to fight us right in the beginning.
Good.
They're going to set the tone. It's probably going to be a complete role reversal, and we're going to lose. If we're being fully honest, it's probably
In
just gonna
fairness,
flip it.
Canada's not fighting us.
You don't think so?
No. I don't think so.
I did hear a good
Well, then
perspective
we better
though.
start it off the same way.
I don't think Canada wants it. I don't think Canada wants to get the crowd into it, so they're not going to fight us. They're going to come out hot, heavy, fast, and furious. You're going to have to get
McDavid's going to
but
finesse our ass.
their first line. Their first line is going to be playing nonstop in the first. They're trying to get McDavid, Crosby, or McKinnon a goal to silence the crowd.
Oh.
So you got to weather
Their
the storm.
team's
They
just
scored first last time. It's a
absurd.
miracle we able to win
Absurd,
2-1.
Their team is absurd. When you just read their team out, you're like, no way, this is a team.
Can you imagine this is the first time we played in a decade because of how bad Gary Bettman's been?
Yeah, though I was
Is that
trying to
true?
learn the history of best on best, like in hockey. It seems like it's back now. Like the
We haven't
Olympics,
played
our
since-
pros are going to the Olympics now.
We haven't played since the World Cup.
This is a big picture. Has like
What was your
never
last U.S. hockey moment that you remember before this?
Oshie in Sochi.
TJ Oshie?
Yeah,
Captain America.
Yeah, that's
I
like
was gonna say,
the
that's what I
most
was going to say. That's the last time
vivid
I remember
when he
anything
just did
US
like
hockey.
7 shootouts in a row because of the Olympic rules. I don't even know if we medaled in that Olympics. I think maybe we got bronze. Was that the
We got
bronze game?
bronze.
I do vaguely remember Crosby scoring the gold medal goal against us, but like
Ryan Miller.
I barely remember it.
Bad turnover.
It's cool though. In a stretch when football's done, I've never been more invested in the sport of hockey than the
That
last
game was
week.
sick.
And like, I think this is just the old man yells on clouds, which has been a cool dynamic between the NHL and NBA and how they've handled their All Star.
Oh, NBA is so
weeks.
shitty.
But it's like it really does go back to if the players in the sport show you they care,
If the players care, then you're going to get a better product.
Everyone
Players
loves
in
it.
The NBA don't care.
and I guess it helps it the political nature of tariffs from Donnie, like that adds a little bit of juice to the entire thing, I guess. So that worked out in the sport's favor. But like,
Built
if you
up aggression for a decade that you guys haven't played, saying that we're better than you.
yes, and like you think about it, the Four Nations means technically nothing. Like the trophy's a nothing burger. Like it's not a Stanley Cup. It's not
They
an
don't
Olympic
care
gold
about
medal.
the trophy. They
No.
care about the name across their chest and beating the crap out of the person
Chuck
across
said
from
it
them.
was the biggest game of their lives.
They haven't
just-
played against
it's
Canada.
just cool.
They
Yeah,
haven't.
it's awesome.
90% of the rosters haven't done
goosebumps.
this.
They
McDavid's
got-
never done it.
The players to actually care about basically an exhibition tournament just because it's best on best countrywide.
Yeah,
And
that's
some of the
sick.
hits and body.
Oh, and
Connor
McDavid got
McDavid.
lit up.
Crosby got lit up
Flying
last game
through the air.
against Finland.
How old is Crosby?
He's up there.
That's a good question. Now.
He's aging
Question
nice.
for Google. Yeah, he looks nice. The mustache is good look for him. 37.
We dumped on basketball a little in that segment, but United States men's basketball team in the Olympics delivered some great coups.
'Cause that's
Even
best
Evan
on
loved it.
best.
Yeah, quick way to fix All-Star Weekend, just do Team USA versus Team World in the NBA. You have enough good players now. I want to see Luka and Jokic on the same team and Giannis versus
All right, lose.
Yeah, I know. It'd
That's
be
the
like
point.
intense.
Be like Shea Gilgeous, Luca,
That would
Giannis.
be the best.
Jokic.
That would be better.
Giannis. We'd get. What do you mean?
KD, Steph, LeBron, Cooper
We'd have the
Flag,
old bags out there.
Cade. We'd have a squad.
Did you guys see the Serbia national team thing about Kevin Durant today?
I don't know why that came out today.
Netflix dropped
it's
the
hilarious
Olympic
clip.
documentary.
Oh.
I need to watch it.
my
I
Twitter
gotta
feed
watch that.
during
Evan, you need to
halftime.
watch it. You're an Olympic sweat.
Loved Olympic basketball.
It was
Loved
elite
it.
basketball.
You
It
were
was
What is
elite
in that.
basketball.
What did he text Easy Money Sniper in the middle of like
Yes.
the day on one of the weekends?
People are like, we don't even know that they're playing, and Evan is letting us know. I actually rewatched
I was walking
those
into
Steph
Costco.
highlights.
Mid-afternoon,
The other day.
I'm dialed in. I completely changed my schedule around those basketball games.
That or
That stretch was sick.
this would work. They should just do a gigantic one-on-one tournament. I would watch
No, that would
21.
be ass.
that.
That would be ass. I'm not
No, 'cause I
watching
think-
guys play one-on-one.
I think one-on-one, like, which
One-on-one's so
work,
chippy and
it
That's
would
the
work up.
point.
I
It
was
would
gonna say
work up their
something else.
egos. Like their
Yes, and
egos
it
would
would
get
shut some of
inflated
them up.
because you don't want to get embarrassed. I think
like
one-on-one would be cool.
one-on-one's not a true test of like who's actually the best player. That's not.
But
how
they think it
basketball
is.
works.
That's how
I know,
those
but it's
guys think it
stupid.
is.
That's why I wouldn't like it. I personally, I'd much rather watch a world team
Yeah.
or like a Team Europe. You could do like a Ryder Cup for basketball. I don't know, something like that. Team Europe and then Team World and then US. Yeah, 3 teams right there. But Canada can be the 4th team. They're pretty good.
Yeah. I did listen to a little bit of Bill Simmons' show this week. He's a
Rising Stars team as a 4th team.
he's a basketball sweat lord, and he wanted to try to fix the All-Star. So I'm like, what would he do? He went full MLB, which I've always loved, that you just make the game for home court advantage. Like that would for in the finals. Like just do that.
They got rid of
I
that
mean, that will
for
get
baseball.
people to, they did. He had a good tweak though. He said you can only be in that game as an All-Star if your team's in the top 5 of the standings at the time of, because like the people that are like in 8th place don't really care about home court advantage because they're not going to make the finals. And I was like, that kind of adds intrigue to like the regular season too, and
Has
people's
the
egos
NBA
of like,
All-Star game ever been good? Other than when
Yeah.
Magic Johnson came back from AIDS?
Yeah.
I guess the early 2000s were still okay, but I don't
Michael
really remember.
Jordan's last All-Star game. It was like competitive.
Because of Michael Jordan being a freak.
Yeah, but Kobe Bryant got
Making
told to
people-
miss. I saw a thing about it this week. It said Kobe Bryant got told to miss a free throw so Michael Jordan would win his last All-Star game, and Kobe Bryant said F that and made balls.
Yeah, those two guys are the biggest freaks in basketball history. Of course, those games are competitive when those two are playing. But now everybody doesn't care. LeBron didn't even play. He just decided
No,
right before
he's the
game
worst.
that
He's a
He left like, yeah, he's the worst, and that's why I've always disliked him. I will say I watched it on tape because I was busy watching hockey. Matt McClung still like put on some good dunks.
I watched
I
a second of that.
I love that's what sucks, dude.
will
Little
never give
little
energy
Grant
to that.
Little Grant loved the dunk contest. I love that event. I always was just like so. The Nate Robinson, Dwight Howard years, I was like, this is awesome. We got the littlest guy versus the biggest guy. They're both doing
You're a
crazy
loser.
dunks. Well, I felt vindicated when it was the Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon year,
That
and everyone
was good.
shit on it, and I watched it live. I was sweating it out watching it live. Like, this is insane. And then everyone caught up to me.
We were in college in that first one, were we?
Maybe. I don't know.
We were freshmen in college.
I watch it every year. I love that event. It's a shame what's happening.
Colin Carr will win that someday. So
Yes. Get him in the dunk
he will.
contest.
He will win it.
Well, yeah, they pretty much make every rookie be in it. It was Matas Buzelis from the Bulls, Stephon Castle from
That
the
white
Spurs.
kid.
Yeah, he was in it. Andre Jackson, UConn product from the Bucks.
Yeah,
It was
I remember him.
and then they brought a 2-way Mac McClung G League guy to win it for 3 years in a row.
Michael Clow's going to be in it next year because he has to win. He has to do his 4-peat.
Stephon Castle did have some nice dunks. We're not talking dunk contest, but Four Nations still a show, obviously. It's just quite the dynamic between the two. They both had All-Star weekends. One nailed it, got everyone in the world talking about it, and the other no one really cares about. Shout out Captain Dylan Larkin for scoring a sick goal to win the game on
Sean
Saturday
McDermott
night.
Mac
on the call too.
McClung's all-time NBA earnings, G League earnings, NBA earnings from his two-way contracts is a total of $1.5 million. He's won $400,000 from dunk contests.
It's a good business.
Only
So,
400,000. I thought he would win like $1 million each, like each time he wins.
Yeah, you should. For
That's
making
a
him
joke.
do that.
The only thing I saw of the All-Star weekend that I actually watched live was I turned the All-Star game on Sunday when that kid was shooting threes with Mr. Beast or whatever against Damian Lillard. Did you guys see that?
I
In
did not
fairness,
see that.
they were talking about like how to make the All-Star games better, and they were talking about like Mr. Beast was on it, Kevin Hart was on it, Draymond Green was on it. Instead of just turn this big old production of like forced entertainment instead of actually like playing.
It was
basketball.
super awkward. It was so awkward watching. And then the kid obviously drilled it and won $100,000. So that was kind of cool. But I was like, what the am I watching? What is
You mean
this?
$100,000?
like-
you mean a quarter
somebody-
of what Mac McClellan's made in the dunk contest?
Yes. He had a shot
Somebody
for
was, like,
$100,000 cash.
doing a commercial shoot during the game or something,
It was
or a
weird.
TV series. It was
Sad.
yeah.
I watched it for 5 minutes. So I don't really know how bad it was.
Back to hockey. How do we get a Kachuk brother on the Red Wings? That should be our next mission, Evan.
We missed out on the opportunity when Matthew got traded to Florida.
That doesn't answer
Yeah.
the question, Evan.
I want one of them in the winged wheel. I love them.
I
I want to be a Kachuk.
One of them, Brady, looks
Be
like
a
a
good
sloth
job.
from Goonies.
Yeah, it's quite the other one, good looking dude.
Matthew, good looking dude.
Good looking dude. The other one, yeah, I want to be one of them. Bad. Grant Kachuk. This is a good name, too. Their dad's a badass. He played USA hockey. It just seemed like
Treat your friends nicely.
my other question was, well, the good thing from the Four Nations, if we do get dusted on Thursday night,
We're not going to get dusted.
we could. Someone
We
said,
could be a 3-0 ball game.
it could be 5-1 with that squad over there. Someone said, when we look back on this in like 30 years, and it is true, it's how events work, we're not going to remember who won the Four Nations face-off. We're going to remember the 3 fights that we won
We're
on
gonna remember
Saturday
they
night. We're going to be like, yeah, they booed us, we kicked their ass, and then we won in Canada.
When
And
they do a
left.
USA Canada documentary in 20 years, that'll be the lead off.
There's going to be like a
that'll
30-minute part about the group chat during the day that said we're going to fight 3 fights in a row.
Yeah. Sick.
I think one of them, I know they're both banged up. I think one of them has to fight to start the game again. think you have to.
Do the
Canada
fights
wants
lose
that
its
again.
luster?
But isn't it in hockey, if you drop the gloves, someone has to answer? You can't just stand there and say no.
Someone has to.
Yeah.
Someone has to do
Real
it. Has to. But usually all that stuff's like like Kachuk didn't know he was going out there to fight. Like, and the Canada guy, and they kind of were out there like jarring at each other. Like, yeah, we're fighting.
shit.
We're
We're
doing
gonna
it.
do this.
I think the first guy knew. Who fought first? I think he knew.
Matthew Kachuk.
They were taught. They said and they had a
Kachuk
group
won.
chat going with the 2 of them and JT Miller saying like, "What if all 3 of us fought to rip off the game?" And I think once Matthew did it, I think Brady's like, "Well, I have to
Brady was
fucking
like-
do it. I'm his brother."
So maybe Brady was
Awesome.
doing the second one. He was probably jawing at somebody, and boom, drop the gloves. Let's go.
It's just so funny that people were calling them the Bash Brothers from the Mighty Ducks leading up to it, and they actually recreated the scene from it where they both just went to the penalty box.
Incredible.
And then we got a penalty, and I thought we were doomed. I thought we were
We
about to
got
go down
penalty on
1-0.
the third one because we instigated the fight.
Yeah. We just need hot
We
goalie
instigated
play.
all of them.
Our goalie is better.
We just need hot goalie play. That's all. I can't wait. Quickly, baseball. We didn't get Bregman. It sucks. I know
Yeah,
people are trying to already
I was
cope with it.
Super disappointed.
It
Like,
sucks.
furious, actually. I was
He
mad for
wanted
like
$40
2 days
million
about
a
it.
year. There's
I
just
would
no
pay
way
that.
around it.
We waited so long. Now, I guess maybe we were smart not to give him that much per year with like
I
no. Well, he also has an opt out, so he could just leave the Red Sox after this year. We didn't
But
want to do
everyone's
that.
saying that the older he gets, the more he's not going to opt out because he's never going to get that contract again.
That's a good point. It's like a couple NBA contracts we've seen where
Yeah.
like they never leave their team because they haven't made.
Literally, unless he wins the AL MVP and the Red Sox are in the World Series, then like how do you get more than $40 million? He's like the 4th or 5th highest paid player right now on average annually.
Good player, Evan.
Yeah, he is like top 5 paid now. There's 2 parts of this I think that suck the most from my perspective. One, I've liked him since his LSU days. People forget I used to have a LSU flat bill hat when I was like in middle school.
Back to back blue balls, biggest free agency in both years in markets. Tigers are linked to it. We're in the running for it, and we just get skipped over.
That is my second point. We got skipped over, and this one took what seemed like a long amount of time than normal. So like
I just thought for sure he was coming.
you can
I got
mix yourself.
duped, dude. I got
Even though a
duped
bunch
by
of
myself.
people said like Cubs are in the mix, Red Sox are in
The
the mix.
people
like,
at
I just
work
don't
would
care.
ask me about it. Remember, I live in Houston. So
Right.
everybody's Astros.
You played
fans. It's a hot topic at work all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, he is a Tiger. Like he's going to be. I told people that. I'm like, there's no reason he won't be. And then he's not. And then I was really sad, and I had to face the crowd. I was disappointed.
Well, the Red Sox have some drama with signing him anyway. So
I saw that. Can we trade for Devers?
we could.
Raphael.
Yeah, their third baseman Alex had a press conference. He speaks through a translator as well. So it just kind of added the dynamic, and they were just like, would you go to DH? And then he tells his translator no, and the translator goes, no. So he's not happy.
It's just like Nomar Garcia-Paro.
Yeah. Good callback to the documentary. Evan, have you watched that yet?
I
Yeah.
have not.
It needs to be on the list.
Oh, it's great.
The Bregman stuff sucks too because it took so long that I feel like I read so many articles and saw so many tweets from our beat writers and experts that were like explaining to us how much this would help the team overall, where like we could move Matt Valen back to the outfield.
People were saying World Series type of team.
We just had like normally these transactions can happen so fast where you don't even have a chance to realize what you missed out on. I fully knew what I was missing out on for like months because of all the things I read about where the lineup would look like. We need right-handed hitting. He can play his natural position, move Vierling out to the outfield. Like this will do this for the infield, and then we just don't get him. So now it feels like we're doomed, even though we're not. It just feels like we're doomed.
But what is our plan?
Dylan Arenado.
Rake with lefties. Trade for
Arenado.
Arenado.
Arenado it's
a name. Just give me a name. Sell a jersey.
We need someone.
Yeah, we need to fill Comerica. Fill the park.
Arenado was okay last year.
We did get Flaherty, so I guess that was nice.
He's 33. Yeah, Flaherty was a nice sign.
Baseball's age is different now. It's not a very physical sport.
I know, but
We could Rake at 38.
And Arenado's a guy that he's going to show up and play freaking 150 games.
Love that.
Bearing injury.
Moving to game counter from last year. What if it was like 80? That would be tough for Evan.
I would have to know that there was an injury.
Played 152 games last year.
Boom.
140.
Missed 10 games
Listen to his last 4 games. Or last 4 seasons. 152, 144, 148, 157. And then 48. 155, 156, 159, 160, 157. This dude just plays baseball.
160? I don't know, 160, a 159, a 157 in there. God, what a grind. Baseball season.
He's played under 130 games one time.
That was an injury.
Mr. Reliable.
Yeah, this last year in Colorado. Actually,
for our Pistons, Detroit Pistons, I think they're the 6th seed into the break, is making the playoffs enough and being competitive in the series.
Yes.
I would actually I would really like to win
the worst
one
product.
playoff game.
The worst regular season product of all the major sports. The worst.
But the playoffs isn't bad.
You say game, Alex, or series?
I want to win a game.
Okay.
Game.
The NBA is the worst regular season product of all the major sports. Hands down.
Probably.
Multiple years, multiple teams.
Probably.
There are teams that make the playoff below 500. And your franchise can't make that over the last decade?
That's not the question, Evan.
So a glimpse of the playoffs is very worth it. Is enough.
Context, Alex. We didn't have any hope this year. Again.
We didn't.
Right now, we'd be playing the Knicks.
I can see a 10 seed.
And then we didn't even get the preview show because they were so bad last year. They weren't even worth talking about as a franchise.
7-game series with the Knicks right now. I think we would win.
Alex, look at this. Just look at our last 2 things that you got most excited about the Pistons over the last 8 years.
Easy.
1,
Cade Cunningham.
the number 1 pick in Cade Cunningham.
I didn't even think of that one first. I'm a sicko.
2, a Blake Griffin trade on this decline of his career.
No, did you say how many years ago? Did you
That's
say?
like 8 years.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I will say if you go a little bit farther, Stanley Johnson against LeBron had a great stretch there when we got swept by them. That got me jazzed.
We lost game 1, but
over like the last 8 years, those are the 2 highlights of Pistons basketball. Trading for a washed-up Blake Griffin and Cade Cunningham being a first pick.
And starting Thon Maker in a playoff game.
Josh Smith buzzer beater that I was courtside for, luckily. That was cool.
Personal bias there, yes.
Yeah.
I want to win a playoff.
Yes, I really saw Stanley Johnson. Sakuda Mbuya had a sick dunk versus the Pacers once.
I feel so good that I was right about that, dude.
I was so fed up with our draft picks. I said I'd be blindly in on him no matter what, and so he was my guy. Unfortunately, yeah, I think obviously make the playoffs from the spot. I would say like if we lose a series 4-2, good with me. Call it good. I don't want to get swept. I don't want to get like embarrassed. But just continue to like play good games. I'll keep tuning in for the fourth quarter each night illegally on Reddit streams, and we'll just rock to the playoffs.
Dude, the streams I've been trying to use have been so bad.
So yeah, the government
And
is cracking down. We need Trump to let his fucking foot off the pedal of those. We play the 3 seed.
We need to get to the 5.
We don't want to play Milwaukee, in my opinion. I don't want to face Giannis still. I know they haven't been great, but I don't want to see Giannis.
And
no, I want to jump Milwaukee, and then I want to play the Pacers in round 1 because
Pacers would be a bad blood series. We hate each other.
Yeah,
that'd be good for the league.
You play with Legos.
Basketball. You play with Legos. Yes, good for basketball. They probably would kick your ass though, because I feel like they kind of have our number.
No,
I think Cade could have a moment in the Garden versus the Knicks. He could win a game on the road of the first 2, and then we could come back to Detroit 1-1.
Imagine if we played Game 7 in the Garden.
It would actually be nice if we played New York because we actually get like talked about every single day. If we played the Knicks,
we'd have the Knicks fans after the game doing
if we
bing
played
bong.
the Pacers, they would like mention us like for like 30 seconds.
We'd be on the NBA TV game at 6 o'clock.
We'd be the main first round playoff series in the East if it was Pistons Knicks.
That'd be sick.
It would have to.
That's our goal.
Because no one's watching Cavs Hawks.
BA on the call too on TNT. Wow.
BA, our guy.
But we have to keep in mind though, we didn't expect anything for the Tigers. And they beat the Astros in an upset. So we got to be mentally prepared for this team to do
something.
Someone's going to
have to go for the show for them to win the first round.
Game, so it was the best of 2.
I can go to the LCA. It's only 40 minutes away. I will be at a Pistons playoff game if they make it.
Yeah.
I hope that for you.
Yeah. I don't know if Marissa would go, so it might be a solo journey. All right. We're ending the show with quickly college football.
No. This is off-season.
Another white whale guest, Ross Dellinger. This guy just pumps out great content, great article after article about the future of the sport. I tried to warn you, Alex. I think it's going to be okay, but it is unique. I want to run it by you, you sweat lords. It's about to happen. They're meeting this week. The future of the college football playoff. Next year will be the same. We're already locked into the same bullshit seeding that they signed. It's a 2-year deal. The next year, from 2026, Evan, to 2031.
It's a good 5 years.
This is what we're talking about. Basically, the contract has been signed that the Big Ten, SEC are the 2 heads of this thing. They get to decide what to do. They don't need approval. The reason they can't change it.
That they're meeting. Is this what we're talking about?
Yeah, the ADs for those conferences are meeting, and the College Football Playoff Committee, I think, is meeting like next week or whatever. So this is what
hate that we have a committee. That's pisses me off.
Well, you might like this. You might like this, Evan. They're trying to minimize the committee, I think, with this.
Good.
So the playoff would either be 14 or 16 teams starting in 2026. We're going bigger, of course. That's just the nature.
8 right now?
It's at 12.
Oh, see.
So let's just go with the 14-team version.
I wouldn't mind 14.
It's easier. It's easier than numbers. It's a model where conferences get automatic bids, no matter what. Your conference gets X amount of teams. 4 for the SEC. 4 for the Big Ten. So there's 8. 2 for the Big 12. 2 for the ACC. There's 12 teams. 1 spot is guaranteed for a G5, highest G5. And then 1's an at-large, which is basically reserved for Notre Dame if they're in the top 14. The top 2 teams of those 14 get buys to start. And that's essentially what your playoff looks like.
I don't like that.
I don't think that's terrible.
Thoughts, comments, concerns?
I don't think you're going to get the best 14 teams, though.
Who was the 4th best team in the SEC?
It probably works out
Alabama.
like that, though.
And they lost.
They would have made the 14 team, though.
Team in the Big Ten.
Ohio State was the 4th best team in the Big Ten this year.
Yeah, Alabama lost to the 6th best team in the Big Ten.
Oh, in the bowl game, you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, I think we were 7th. Thank you, though, for that.
6.
I get your point, though.
I want the best ranked teams in, not the.
But then it sounds like you need a committee, though, Evan. If you could do it that way, you hate the committee, but someone has to rank them then.
I want the BCS.
So I will say,
Computers.
oh, I see.
Dude, if you just look at the college football rankings, the final college football rankings before the playoff, that exact scenario happened.
Mm-hmm.
So
Pretty dang close.
like maybe one team difference.
Because those two teams
Like,
made
it's-
it. Miami didn't make it. Iowa State gets in. Good. That's huge for Iowa State. Matt Campbell, stock up.
So what's the point of playing conference championships?
Evan,
You wouldn't.
you are a genius. That is what is going to be the most crazy thing about college football.
The TV markets aren't going to allow that because the TV markets want that extra game on their TV.
Evan, I need you to
They
be
don't
buckled.
choose.
I need you to be buckled.
They
You
do choose
buckled?
because they sign contracts. Until those conferences sign those contracts,
They do.
my conference championship's going to be on your TV for the next 8 years.
Evan, I need you to be buckled. Are you buckled?
Yep.
This is what is being floated as what they would do with conference championship weekend. Now, again, we're still. I just want when you heard it here first. When you see this news, like, well, how the hell did this happen? Grant is a sicko and loves these Ross Dellinger pieces and brings it because it just fascinates me. What they're thinking of doing is doing more of a play-in structure for conference championship weekend. Where let's look at the Big Ten this year. So if we use the Big Ten this year, the Big Ten would say Oregon and Indiana. You are 1 and 2 in our rankings. You do not need to play on conference championship weekend. You're already in the playoff.
I have to freaking watch Ohio State. You know what? Iowa.
Penn State, you need to play the 6th seed Iowa for the right to go to the playoff. And Ohio State, you play Illinois for the right to go to the playoff. 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5, play in to be the final 2 automatic bids for the Big Ten is hypothetically what we're talking about for conference championship weekend.
Kind of interesting.
It, in a sense,
It does
it's
make
new.
it interesting, but it's not.
Guys, I told you, college football got ruined when they realigned conferences.
Yeah,
And it's just getting worse.
and when
and
they
it's gonna
start
keep
expanding the
getting
playoff
worse.
too much. I'm with Alex now. If
Now
they
it's
do this,
that's wild card weekend.
if they do this BS, I want to go back down to like 4 teams because there's. I was looking at the conference or the season this last year. I think 6 to 8 teams is the sweet spot each year that can actually win a title. Nobody needs to like Iowa fans. It's fun for the fan base because you can convince yourself, what if we upset Penn State? Nobody wants to see Iowa have a chance going 8-5, but 5-4 in their or 6-3 in their conference having a chance for the playoff. That's a joke. Like there has
I
to
only
be
want to see
a
those teams
barometer.
in the playoffs if they face a Cinderella and the Cinderella wins. Like I want to see Boise State versus Iowa and Boise State advances another week. Like I want to see
Why?
Ashton Genty play another week.
Oh yeah, he's a good running back, but
Fine. Why though? Why do we want this? What does this do for anybody? Just more football games? There was too many.
I guess
this
it's
year.
just more football games. I mean, if they fix the seeding, it could kind of help. Like I said,
I
those first
already
round
didn't
games
like
would have been
how
better.
deep college
Alex, you
football
enjoyed
went.
the Peach Bowl. The Texas Arizona State game was fun.
There were some games that were fine, but it's like the more
I
you
think this
expand
right
and
here-
start doing
The
all
Orange
this
Bowl was
goofy
exciting.
shit, the more it gets watered down. It's just getting watered down.
I know each year is unique, but like in retrospect, now that we have hindsight, this is the playoffs.
What a
the
top
top
six.
6 teams by the rankings, computer committee, whatever to do. Oregon, Georgia can get buys. 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5. Move on. That's all you need. Each year in college football, I don't think there's like 12 teams that actually can win a championship, but I do understand it is fun to bring in the Indianas and Boise States and SMUs to give them a chance on
Yeah,
a big
but
stage.
none of those teams could win.
I don't think they ever will. I think it's
It's a
too
waste of
hard
time.
in
It's a
football.
waste of time.
But
That's why you had BCS bowl games that mattered for those teams, and they could win those games, and it would mean a lot to their fan base and their program.
that's true.
There was nothing wrong with it. We just ruined all of college football for what? Money.
If I have to
It
try to
pisses me off every
find
time we talk.
if I have to try to find a positive in this, I would say I like the conference focus because it does make your conference race more exciting throughout the year. Like I feel like in the past few,
With all
like the
50
first year of the
teams in your
12-team playoffs,
conference.
yeah, I didn't really care about the Big Ten standings because I kept thinking about how does my team qualify for the 12-team playoff. It is kind of cool that there'll be this provision where like the top 4 teams in our Big Ten get to go. So that's cool to focus on throughout the year, I guess. But
So
also
stupid.
what they're going to do, not to get too in the weeds on episode 200, but if they do this thing with the SEC and Big Ten of guaranteeing those 4 spots, it's going to allow those conferences to play more high-profile non-conference games. Because in theory, your non-conference does not matter at all anymore in those two conferences because it's just based on your conference qualifier. So for more money, Alex, the Big Ten and SEC are going to do a handshake agreement that they're going to play non-conference big games every year to start the year, like Michigan,
but
LSU,
those games won't.
Alabama, Georgia.
All those games is just entertainment, and they don't actually matter.
Correct.
All this is entertainment, Alex.
They won't matter for the playoff.
Evan, there was a point in time where every college football game you played mattered. You lose and your season was over.
Like Michigan, Notre Dame with the pass interference. You didn't know it at the time, but that was the most important game of the year.
That is the best college football. We already know what the best college football is, and we just decided, nope, we're not going to do it. We're done.
Why? Because they let committees decide the top 4 teams. That's what ruined college football, Alex.
Yeah,
and nobody's in charge.
Expanded, and then conference teams, schools were like, you know what? I'm going to go play in a conference 8,000 miles away because that makes sense for us financially. Now it sucks. It just sucks. Pisses me off.
I knew I was riled up by this.
It's
so keep an eye out for that. You heard
stupid. And if the NCAA tournament expands to 76,
that's happening.
But
you're gonna have a playing game every region.
I mean, sure, our tournament streak will
location's
just
gonna have a playing game.
go to infinity if that happens. But it's stupid.
Yes,
stupid.
Well, already the play-in teams for the 16 seeds are already garbage. Like having to see Texas Southern in there every other year.
That's fine because you're giving little schools a chance to play a game where they could actually win.
So the other play-ins, Alex, you have to say that's fine. More.
No, not more. That's fine. It works. It's great. It's the best 4 days in sports. Just leave it.
I don't get why the conference in those. I don't get why the 16 seeds that won their conference have to play in the playing game. You should just be in the tournament.
That's always been an argument, Grant.
It's got to be BS. You're sold a bag of lies that you have to go to Dayton, Ohio to play another game. You should just be in. You won your conference
title. Some of those teams that won the conference tournament, like 5 games below 500.
What would happen?
That's the beautiful thing.
If
11 and 16.
But
if you made all those teams, you'd have to move other teams up, and then you'd have to take out the 11 play-ins, or you'd have to take someone out, and then you would have some dog shit team that was set to be a 15 move all the way up to a 13. It would just be stupid. You don't want that.
No, I do. I need
that's
less.
That's why you have 16s playing.
I need less 11 seeds duking it out that don't need to be there.
The 16s, they count those wins on their NCAA tournament wins all time.
I just think, it's the bigger.
Needs a reset.
I think it's the bigger picture of how all sports have gotten, where we complain about the regular seasons being too long, and it's solely, some of them are too long, but it's because everybody gets into the playoffs now. So I don't need to see all those regular season games if everybody feels like they're getting in. If you shrink your regular season and if you make your postseason smaller, then the regular season matters a lot more because every game matters more. And if it's
we already know what works. We got rid of it.
We can never go back. We're done.
Should have just went BCS 14. That's all that you need to do.
BCS 6.
Fine. If you want 6, 6. BCS 6. And then you still have 3 other BCS bowls that are non-playoff games. And then boom, it's over.
What could be cool is if we didn't have these mega conferences, you shrink your conferences back to 8 to 9 teams. So everyone plays everybody. And then it's just a tournament of all the conference champions.
We didn't even have conference championships 10, 12, 13 years ago.
I like those.
The amount
I do like the conference title game.
Is unbelievable.
Whoa.
The word unbelievable should be used because that is how much different. If you look at the 2012 college football season to now, it's not even remotely the same sport.
Was it the upset year? No, that was 2007.
That was 2007.
I'm going to have to go watch that to relive the glory days.
Big Ten didn't have a championship.
I don't know why we nuked a great sport.
Money. It's not for the fans. It's not for the coaches and players. It's for the money, the suits.
It all sucks.
Suits
that sign the deals with NBC, CBS, and ESPN.
Our asses will be glued to the telly every week they play.
You're goddamn
We're the
right.
problem because we're just going to keep watching.
Because to close the show, perfect, right at February, Alex and I just got in a little bit of it was almost like a a Western standoff. It was a Western standoff, I would say, where I threw something out about how I'm starting to, Evan, get a little excited about Michigan football. Recklessly, I would say. I have nothing really to base it off of. I've just been like letting myself dream as fans do. Like, what if Bryce Underwood has like a Trevor Lawrence
they're
type?
national championship or bust.
What if he has a Trevor Lawrence type freshman year where he just hits the ground running and that's like his peak of college football and like he's good his freshman year? And I was like, should I be ashamed? My question to you, should I be ashamed as a Michigan fan for letting those thoughts of like, I can see us winning the Big Ten again. I can see us being in the Final Four of the college football playoff. Should I be ashamed for thinking of that here in February?
Should be ashamed. But
In the middle of a
realistic,
Michigan Big Ten basketball title run?
do you also have
Yeah, ridiculous.
20 other NFL draft prospects on your roster that are starting?
Good question. Probably not
Do you have
20.
Christian Wilkins as your starting defensive tackle? Do
No.
you have T. Higgins as
I
your starting
tried
wide
to
receiver?
tell him,
No.
you lose
Okay.
all your best players on defense.
Will Bryce
You have
Underwood be good?
No wide receivers
Is the
on your
talent
team.
around him going to dupe down his potential? Yes. He's not going to be as good as he is his
Yes,
freshman year.
Evan already said it. You already said yes. It could
What?
be worse.
Bryce Underwood is going to be talented, but the rest of his roster is not talented. His offense is not talented enough to elevate him.
Pass
Trevor
catchers.
Lawrence, very talented. The rest of his roster, talented. Trevor Lawrence,
Yeah, they had a
championship.
national championship roster. We just watched. You got. I mean, Grant, if we go back 5 months or so,
We're sitting at the
5-ish
Cumsey
months.
Tavern after golf.
No, not
The
that
famous
far back.
conversation.
The
No,
famous
but
conversation.
This team stinks.
Middle of the
Great
season,
arguments.
Michigan's been dog shit. You're talking about how you're firing Sharon. Everybody
No.
on the team stinks.
Never said I wanted to fire Sharon.
No, but like you were fine if they did.
I
Take me
said
back to
believe
the
it's the
Illinois
quote.
game.
if things went downhill bad and we lost by 60,
I
sure.
think it's hilarious, and I respect Michigan fans for it. But the little Ohio State, which wasn't little, big win, whatever. You beat the national champions.
You cannot call that little. That was awesome.
And then you
Game didn't
beat
mean
Alabama in a bowl game, which Grant has gone on record many times saying, bowl games don't matter unless it's the playoffs. And then they won, and now it matters. Yeah, it is. So, if pre those two games, we're talking about a season where everybody's ready to burn the program down. And now we're talking about a national championship. That's how quick we flip.
No, nobody has said national championship.
Playoffs.
I said winning the Big Ten, winning the Big Ten to start, and then making the Final Four of the playoff would be the goals that I'm starting to get to in my head. I'm just trying to set high expectations.
While
I'm embracing
Michigan
them.
is in the midst of a Big Ten basketball
Saints
title
gonna be the favorite to win the
race.
Big Ten.
That's what I'm saying, Evan. The Big Ten's up for grabs this year. I see it.
Guys, I'm not doing football right now.
It never sleeps.
Take a break from it.
I
This
am
is
taking
when
a break.
We just talked about how they ruined it.
Yeah,
Alex, you would love to go to a Michigan State home playoff game.
yeah, you would.
Sure.
You'd be there in
Sure.
a second.
I would be there.
Does it help that we suck? No, but they did ruin
that we have
the
sucked?
landscape
Or
of
you know
college
what?
football.
After Bryce goes to the NFL, I'll quit college football. Nobody can be out on it.
Whoa.
I'm kidding. That'll never happen. I love it too much,
Because
but
it's a better product
I
than
will
the
not
NFL.
poo-poo
Can
it
you guys tell me
until
that it's possible that
then.
they would go back to how college football was? Do you think there's any chance they go back?
Zero.
To move
Point zero
forward?
zero 1% chance that they go back.
it would just have to be.
What about teams going
viewership
back
and,
to their
like-
conferences?
Doge would have to find like some dirt that the NCAA's been paying all their suits and not the athletes. And it would have to go back to like the BCS where it's all just computers.
Can we kick teams out
I
of
don't
the
know.
conference and go back to their old conferences? Can we reform the Pac-12?
That'd be sick.
No.
No.
Pac-12 is going to reform, but it's going to be all the small schools.
No. take
Yeah.
them
Alex,
back.
Northern Illinois left the MAC to join the Mountain West.
End of,
That's
end of
crazy
the show.
sentence.
This just pisses me off.
If people start losing money, then yes, they'll have to go back. But until then, people are
But I
making
hope they all
money.
go broke.
People are making money.
Colleges don't go broke. They bring in billions of dollars every year.
Not us though.
Actually,
We
false.
just
Off the
did.
departments
back
do
to
go broke all the
students.
time.
We did 200 shows for free. Damn it, for the people.
We did for free. It's 0 cents. We've lost money.
These mics
Grant.
aren't free.
Grant loses money.
These mics aren't free. Cheers to 200.
Who wants to sponsor us?